Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, and I'm coming at you with my first DIY your scraps video in a pretty long time. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I was looking at the remnants of what I had left over from my Lemon Grove collection from Cocoa Daisy, and I was like, I don't want to put it away without having like really gone through everything and played. So I decided to do a DIY your scraps video, and so I'm going to be making a few journaling cards and some embellishment clusters. Mostly journaling cards is what I was going for, but I do end up making some embellishment clusters towards the end. So this journaling card has a place for a photo. I was having a hard time using that sunshine Polaroid frame just in general, so I decided if I put it on a card and then I could, it would make more sense on a card for me as a scrapbooker than it would anywhere else. So now I'm going to make a journaling card that says Slice of Life, and I never really used a lot of these lemons from the collection, so I decided that I would use some of these lemons for this card because it worked out pretty well. So I'm just layering the lemons, kind of making almost like a floral cluster on this card. So I have a few different lemons, and then I never really used these cute rubber ones either, so I decided to use them both on this card. And I think this one's about done. Next, I'm going to pull out all of these pieces. I have this bright yellow tag that came in the collection that I never used because it's so bright yellow. So I decided to cover up a lot of it and use it as a mat on this card. And then I'm making another place for a photo, although I could use it for journaling if I end up wanting to as well. It'll just depend on what happens when I go to use it. More lemons on this card as well, and then this fun glitter foam. I didn't end up using a lot of the glitter foam embellishments either, so this was a good way to use that. I'm going to make a 3x4, and I had this idea to create triangles on this card, and it's pretty funny because the sentiment that I choose to use is sun and fun, but this card is just all blue, so I find it funny. It evokes the blue sky rather than the yellow sunshine, which works for me, but I thought it was kind of amusing that I didn't end up using any yellow on the sun and fun card. So I just used my paper trimmer to find the exact middle of that card, and I poked a hole, and then I just cut from one corner to the middle from all directions. So I ended up with 4 triangles. They're not all the same size, obviously, because the card was not square. So I used the tall rectangles, or the tall triangles for this card, and then I'm going to use the other triangles for a different card. I decided to just put a sticker on this white wood card, something really quick and easy. And then these pockets, these like see-through pockets, came in the collection as well, and I always have a hard time using these too. So I decided that I would decorate the outside of this pocket with these triangles, and what it would do is I could stick that tag in there, and if I choose not to use that tag later when I go to use it, that's fine too, but I could stick this tag in there and it kind of blocks the journaling that would be on that tag or the photo that would be on that tag, so it kind of makes it more private if I want it to be more private, or just, a different way of looking at it. Next, I'm going to start building some clusters. So I have this lemon tag. Like I said, I did not use a lot of the lemons, a lot of the lemon themed embellishments in this collection. So I'm pulling out the lemon tag with the scrap of lemon paper that I had left over, and I'm going to use a sentiment that says, "When life gives you lemons," because that's perfect. So I made this cute little tag. So I pre-planned all of the cards, so now I'm just kind of winging it to make some embellishments. So that's why I go a little bit slower and think a little bit more than I did in the beginning, because I'd already done my thinking before I started the video for the cards. I had 3 of these tags because you get the same tag in a bunch of different Cocoa Daisy kits. So I'm trying to cover up the sentiment down here at the bottom so I can use the tag differently than I am in other ways. So I'm going to use these circles, and I'm going to cover up all of this, and I'm going to trim off the bottom so you don't see any of the yellow on the bottom. And now I need a little sentiment to go in the middle of that circle. So just kind of looking around, I'm going to do photo fave. It's a little bit small, but I kind of like how big that white circle matting is. I have some more stickers. I have all these really fun word art stickers that I never really get a chance to use a lot of the sheet. So I'm going to make some embellishments out of them. I have a hard time using them sometimes because they are see-through, semi-see-through. So my options generally are to back it with white and cut it out, or to put it over a light part of a photo. And I found that most of my photos don't have a lot of light parts on them. Like I really fill the frame in my photos, or the way I print them at least. So I always have a hard time with that. So if I put them on embellishment clusters like this, then it's easier for me to use them on layouts. So I decided to put this cute little mason jar in the cluster. And I'm using a slice of life again because I had two different embellishments, or two different, phrases, and that's okay. I can use them in different places, different times, and no one will ever know the difference. I'm going to trim off some of this blue paper here, and I'm going to get out a tool that I hardly ever use, and it's these edge punches from American Crafts. I got them at Tuesday morning, and I don't use them a lot because I have a hard time using them. I have a hard time making like the paper work right and lining things up. But I decided to go for it this time and create a little scalloped edge, or at least try to. And it works mostly. It's a little weird and funky, but that's okay. I make it work. So I got this cute little scallop, and it's actually kind of hard to see on the video because of that pattern, but it looks better in real life. I'm going to trim this down a little bit so that I cut off the funky scallops and just make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to use it as like a little paper strip behind this Hello Sunshine. So I'm kind of looking at what I got left. I don't want to leave scraps that like are useless, so I'm going to make another card out of this blue background. And I hadn't planned this one, but I really wanted to use that here for the food chipboard, so I decided to make an actual like journaling card with journaling spots for this one, and I'm going to layer them vertically. I'm going to include some of these lemons just to use up a few more. So I'm going to put one here at the top. I'm going to put that here for the food, and then the two journaling spots. And I decided I want to use another one at the bottom, because that was looking weird and off-centered to me. So I'm looking through some stuff, and that's when I decided to use the other lemon slice. So I'm going to have to move everything up. And I'm going to use them sort of as frames for the sentiment and the journaling here. I pulled off the adhesive on that chipboard and just stuck it down with my tape runner because chipboard is notorious for falling off. So I decided to just secure it. Gonna look through and find a little sticker. I decided not to use this one. I didn't like the way that it looked. So instead I'm going to pull a little circle out that has like a knife and fork. And it adds a little orange pop, which is good. One more little embellishment with this paper strip. I don't like leaving scraps. So I'm going to create one more embellishment, a little journaling spot, and call it good. Notch it into a banner. And I end up covering up too much of that actual journaling area, so then I decide to instead flip it upside down so that the silver is at the bottom and I have more room to journal. So that is it for this video. I created a few cards and a few different journaling clusters and embellishment clusters to use on future layouts. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you, and I will see you next time. Thank you.